Hey guys, this is JP's LEGO Reviews, and today I'm going to do another LEGO Star Wars comparison. Here we're comparing the UCS Y-Wing to the UCS A-Wing. Now, the questions you will have are, which one is more realistic, which one is more displayable, which ones are better to build, which one has a better minifigure, and finally, which one has a better value proposition. So, let's break it down. Now, what set is more displayable? It's a tight one, but it is one that will have a winner, and the winner is the Y-Wing on the left. It simply just has more detail, and the more detail gives it a better displayability. The A-Wing looks really good too, but it just looks plain compared to the Y-Wing. And I'm just going to zoom over quickly to the Y-Wing, and you can see how much detail it truly has. And this is what it makes it just such a displayable set. Now, looking at this Y-Wing and seeing how displayable it is, let's move on to the next category. Let's talk about realism here for a second, and I gotta say it again, it's actually close. Actually, it's not even close, it's a tie. The reason why is the A-Wing is very realistic too. Now, the Y-Wing looks realistic because there's so many details in it, but the A-Wing is also very realistic, firstly, because it is just in a really good scale, and secondly, also it's just really accurate in its shaping. And even though there's not as much smaller, finer details like the Y-Wing, the A-Wing doesn't have it because the thing in universe doesn't have it. It's not like this is missing detail. This is literally just how the ship comes in universe in Star Wars. And because of that, I'm going to give these two sets a tie. Now, let's move on to our next category. We're now at probably the most important category there is, which is the value proposition. And at retail price, there's just a clear winner, and it's the UCS Y-Wing. In Australia, it actually retails for $300, or it used to anyway. Meanwhile, the A-Wing retails for $330. And because of that discrepancy alone, it makes the Y-Wing such a better value. Not just because the Y-Wing takes up more space, which does increase its value. It has 200 more pieces pretty much. But it's also $30 cheaper. And that's something I just simply cannot ignore. The A-Wing is a great set, but the Y-Wing just takes it when it comes to value. Now let's move on to the next category. Now, which minifigure selection is better? And I'm going to say it's the Y-Wing. And it's not really that close either. Now, you have one minifigure, the A-Wing and the Y-Wing pilot. Both have back torso printing. Both have front torso printing, helmet printing, no arm printing, and leg printing. And they're just very similar minifigures in terms of quality. So they're equal. But with the addition of the grey astromech droid with the Y-Wing has a better minifigure selection simply because there's more minifigures in the set. And leaving on that note, let's go to the next category. Now, what are my thoughts when it comes to the building experience? I gotta say, it's a tie again. Now, it is interesting to see the Y-Wing go together with so many details, but that's not necessarily an advantage depending on who you are. Both builds aren't too repetitive, and they both are very enjoyable. There's so many different techniques that are being used in them, and there's just a lot of things that you wouldn't expect about them if you didn't build them yourself, and that's something I really appreciate in these UCS sets. And honestly, they're both UCS sets. They're not going to be easy to build. They're going to be complicated, but you're going to enjoy them anyway. And leaving on that note, let's go to my final thoughts. The winner of this comparison is not that hard to draw. The A-Wing has not secured any wins, meanwhile the Y-Wing has. And because of that, the Y-Wing is the winner of this comparison. And even just looking at them, it just makes more sense. It's larger as a set, and in that creates itself more value. It's cheaper by $30. There's more minifigures. Everything is just going to the Y-Wing. But if you're in 2022, that's not such a good thing, because this set is retired. Now, because of the fact that this set is retired, it's probably going to be worth more than $300. Let's say the set has increased to $400 or even $500. This makes the Y-Wing kind of redundant. Now, if you really want to get the Y-Wing, I'm not stopping you. But if you're choosing between these two, and you may be, because you want to collect all the wings first, get the A-Wing before it retires. Because I know it's closer to leaving the market than entering the market. And also, like I said, even though it's a little bit just worse looking at it than the Y-Wing, it's like comparing awesome to great. The A-Wing is still a great UCS set. You can't go wrong with it, even though it includes one minifigure. It looks kind of basic, but there's something just so good about this A-Wing. I will also say as well, the A-Wing is a little bit more fragile. Now, it's not going to break off like other sets that I have, but it's one that you don't want to just grab by its neck like the Y-Wing and just shake. You want to be careful with this set. And if you are careful with the A-Wing, then I think you're going to be really fine. And that is it. If you enjoyed this comparison, then please smash the like button if you want to see more content just like this, and please subscribe. I hope you all have a great day and keep building.